Guten Tag, Berlin. Bonjour. Good morning. Dear Mayor Giffey, dear Francisca, ladies and gentlemen, fellow mayors, business leaders, and researchers, and young people, thank you for being here. First, I would like to thank Mayor Giffey, dear Francisca, for this wonderful initiative, which brings together different areas of expertise of democracy. I will speak on a theme that is dear to me, the role of cities in an uncertain world, because this is an uncertain world, and also dangerous world, I will say. The war in Ukraine, the brutal and violent war on our continent has touched all of us. We thought that this continent was safe from war. We have shown our firm solidarity with Ukraine and the Ukrainians. The action of Europe and the various member states was decisive. The action of the cities has also been essential. They have been and still are at the center of the response to receive, house, educate, and support families from Ukraine and to help, including financially, Ukraine. The cities will still be there tomorrow to assist the reconstruction of the country, Ukraine. An uncertain and dangerous world, I said. I witness, as much as you do, the rising success of populism from both the conservative side and the left. OECD made a report 3 years ago pointing out the rising danger of the decline of the middle class. Their support for democracy is at stake. Recent elections in France, in Sweden last week, tomorrow, I'm afraid, in Italy, have already proven it. Their confidence in health system, in public education, and in the role of the law have been undetermined by the reducing investment in public services. Temptation to vote for populist leaders and parties is very strong. And the populist leaders call ecology and climate change issues and solutions into questions. If you combine democratic crisis and climatic and energy crisis, the danger is here. It's no longer need to prove that solutions already exist. European cities have implemented robust and efficient solutions. Bicycle lines in Amsterdam, Copenhagen, now in Paris, banishment of diesel and thermal cars from their center as Tokyo since 1997 in Tokyo. And like Paris has voted it in my first term, building, retrofitting to enhance energy efficiency and reduce energy consumption, development of social housing in our center like Vienna, Berlin have done since decades, urban reforestation to adapt our cities to rising temperature, enhancing proximity based on the concept of the 15-minute cities I launched at the end of my first term as mayor of Paris, reducing our travel to reduce our emissions. A lot of urban planners and mayors in Europe are developing proximity solutions like Milano, Roma, Lisbon. Solutions are here. Sometimes we have to scale up them, but with the mayor, we know what to do. We know what to do, like in Berlin. We are continuing to take action to transform the way we travel consume, live, and remote our buildings, and to accelerate the transition to renewable energies. We need more direct funding from European Union, of course, from our states, but we know the way. A real danger is also now coming from the digital sphere. The digital sphere is free, very free, and it's not just bad. It was an amazing project for the planet, for the democracy, because we can share with all the countries, all the citizens. It's fine, but now it's a real danger, because it links with populism, with fear inspired by fake news. About the economic and social crisis, everywhere we deal with the soaring cost of energy and housing, which is now affecting all major cities in Europe, in Berlin, in Germany, but in all Europe. Food prices are also rising. We will have to show solidarity and unity to help the most vulnerable people and the middle class, because today the middle class is vulnerable. All to face this new attack on their wallets, already damaged by the 2 years of health crisis. About the ecological crisis, the summer we lived here, everyone has seen, experienced it, and felt it. The cities are now hit hard by the climate change, heat waves. All this transformation we need cost a lot of money on the short term. We know that. Cities do not have the means to do so. This is why I wish now to talk about Europe, but also about funding. We need to see this cost with a different point of view. In the long term, this cost is an investment to reduce also the ecological debts, because we have ecological debts we led to our children. We have many debts, and also the ecological debts, and we need to change the point of view of the investment about this transformation. In Europe, there is a gap between what we think we have to do to avoid the possible collapse of our economy and our societies, and what we are currently doing. I pledge that European institutions no longer consider ecological and social investment as the cost that increase the financial debts of the member states, but as a true investment for resilience, better life, and democratic value. The main lesson learned from COVID crisis is the following. It's possible to change the role to face crisis. So we have to change the role to face democratic crisis, social crisis, and ecological crisis. Europe has made the ecological transition a central part of its recovery plan with the European Green Deal. It's a very good deal, and I agree and I support that. We welcome this and support this approach to comply with the Paris Agreement and achieve carbon neutrality before 2050. But to achieve this neutrality, we need money. This is why, as mayor of Paris, I have been working for a long time with the European institutions to ensure that the question of funding cities' ecological transition is a central part of their policies. We also need to be able to resist to lobbies from fossil energy, the very strong lobbies from fossil energy. All the forces, both from private to public sector, that want nothing changed. They all want to protect their own interests, even, and we know that, if the price for our societies, our climate, our democracy is very high. Let me tell a short story. During the lobbying campaign to defend the use of glyphosate, they told to justice and regulator that glyphosate is less dangerous than candies you give to your children. Why candies? Because diabetes is killing a lot of people. Yes, of course, it's killing a lot of people. But glyphosate is killing a lot of people too. I've heard the same argument during my first term when a car manufacturer explained us in my office that diesel motors is less dangerous than the candies you give to your children. 2 days ago, in Paris, just before to come to Berlin, a so-called expert explained on TV, on French TV, that nuclear energy is less dangerous than the candies you give to your children. I think that lobbying agencies have to change their wording to defend indefensible products. I hope that they will not tell to the member of the European Parliament and European Commissioner that diesel motors are no less dangerous than candies, and when they will try to soft the Euro 7 standards for air pollution, they will find in front of them, against them, the mayors that were protecting their fellow citizens from air pollution. It is about our health because scientific studies have recently shown the links between lung cancer and fine particles. This is why we, along with other mayors, are calling for the adoption of an ambitious Euro 7 standard, which confirms the ban on thermal vehicles and identify methane emissions as a pollutant. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition to Europe, I would like to mention the much-needed solidarity between cities. We face the same difficulties and doubts. It is in our interest to unite and mobilize together. This summer of 2022 proved that the prediction scientists have been making for years are happening faster than expected, more intensely than expected. I trust the scientists. Let us listen to them. Let us follow their advice. The more we listen to them, the more we do exactly as they say, the more effective our action will be. But you have already understood that this fight, and my colleague Francesca talked about that before, this fight is also for democracy and against populism. The rise of populism in the world and in Europe is a true danger. And I will propose to my colleagues in European cities to work together in order to implement a digital organization able to respond to these attacks that destabilize our democratic system and deny climate change at the same time. We have to unite in order to amplify our positive message and our solutions. In front of such an uncertain and dangerous world, we carry a positive vision because it's linked the answer to climate change and the fight against inequalities in order to improve people's life. Our cities are often led by progressists, ecologists, social democrats. We should not be naive or foolish. As mayor, we have a role to play to demonstrate the efficiency of democracy, ecology, and social progress in front of all the challenges we currently face in our world. We are here and we are fighting. Thank you.